I'm going to show you how we can flip the house advantage in our favor using an NFL teaser strategy. Sportsbooks don't want you using this strategy. They've even started changing the way they price games to protect themselves because they're tired of getting hammered by the bettors who use it. By the end of this video, you'll have all the info needed to start using this strategy today. I'm going to explain the different rules of this teaser strategy, what we need to look for, when to apply this strategy, and why it can dramatically increase your expected value. You'll want to make sure to stick around to the end because we created a free teaser strategy cheat sheet checklist that you can save right to your phone and use as a reference this season to make sure all your teasers have the highest win probability. Now, before I get into it, if you find this video helpful or entertaining and would consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. Also, make sure to turn on the notification bell because I have a lot of videos coming down the pipeline that I'm going to be pumping out soon. Don't want you to miss them. For anyone that's interested in getting free daily picks sent directly to your phone, all you have to do is text PICS to the number on the screen, or you can click the link in the description below and opt in. Everything is 100% free, no card info or any of that nonsense. But now let's get right into this NFL teaser strategy. I do want to make it clear that this is a well-known strategy. It was originally created by a guy named Stanford Wong. He wrote about this specific teaser strategy way back in 2001 in his book called Sharp Sports Betting. It's become more popular in the past 5 or 6 years. It's commonly being referred to as the Wong teasers. If you're interested in reading this book, we do have it linked in the description below. But I'm going to break down the full strategy in this video from start to finish. But in order to do that, we first must understand a few things. First, what is a teaser? Now, I'm sure some of you know what a teaser is, but for those that don't, I'll briefly explain it here. A teaser is a combo bet similar to a parlay, where a parlay will pay you out increased odds for winning all the games. A teaser doesn't pay you out increased odds. Instead, it gives you points you can use to adjust the point spread for each game in the teaser. So, for example, let's say you want to do a 2-team teaser for Week 1 NFL, and you decide on Buffalo -7 and Washington +1. If you were to do a 6-point 2-team tease with those two teams, you'll get 6 points to apply to each point spread, which, as you can see, would make Buffalo -1 instead of -7 and Washington +7 instead of +1. Simple enough, right? Now, it's important to understand teasers alone are not profitable. They were created by the sports books to give sports bettors a more interesting way to lose their money. And the name is fitting, teaser, because it seems like it'd be easy getting 6 points to adjust the line, but make no mistake, teasers fall into the same categories as parlays, especially when you start messing around with all the different crazy teaser combinations like 10 teams, 7-point teasers. Some books even offer 10 or 12-point teasers where you have to bet on 3 or 4 teams. But I know they can seem appealing, but trust me, they're sucker bets and they're impossible to beat long term. And I'll show you the math in a minute, but we want to focus on the 2-team 6-point teasers that are -110, or the 2 and 3 6.5-point teasers are okay as well. But make sure the payouts are reasonable or close to what you see on screen. You don't want to be betting a 3-team 6-point teaser that doesn't pay +160. A lot of sports books are starting to make 2-team 6-point teasers -120. So check what your sports books have for pricing on teasers. Try to find the books that are giving fair pricing. You might think it's only a difference of 10 cents, but trust me, over the course of a season, that ultimately cuts into your edge and can be a big difference. So moving along, we now know what a teaser is and the ones we want to use. So for the first part of this teaser strategy, we need to understand what the key numbers are in football. These are numbers that are the most common for margin of victory. 3 points is the most common margin of victory. 15% of all NFL games end by a margin of 3 points. 7 points is the next common margin at 10%. So the numbers 3 and 7 combined make up 25% of all the final score margins. So if we use a 6-point teaser to go across or through the key numbers of 3 and 7, we would be covering the two most common margins of victory. And this is one of the main rules for the teaser strategy. We want to tease across key numbers using the 6 points we get. And I'll show you what I mean by teasing across or through key numbers here. The Giants are plus 1.5, so using the 6 points on them would get them at plus 7.5, which would be crossing the key numbers of 3 and 7. Now, teasing the Saints would also be crossing through the key numbers. Saints are plus 2.5 to plus 8.5. And so that's what it means by teasing through key numbers. Now, just teasing through the key numbers alone is called the basic teaser strategy. And we could stop right there because historically just teasing through key numbers alone has proven to be slightly profitable. But we can make it better by adding a few more rules, which we'll do. There's only one situation where you don't want to tease through key numbers, and it's with road favorites of 7.5 points or more. We never want to tease road favorites of 7.5 points or more down, even if it's crossing the key numbers of 7 and 3. As you can see on the screen with the 49ers, they are minus 7.5 on the road against the Lions. Teasing them would get them to minus 1.5, which is teasing through the key numbers, but we want to avoid this, and there's a good reason for it. We never want to tease down road favorites of 7.5 or more. Road favorites in general are the most inefficient pricing situations in the NFL. The past 2 decades, road favorites of 7 points or more have only covered 40% of the time. And it makes sense if you think about it. It has to be a really big mismatch in order for a team to be favored by more than a touchdown on the road, because, it's always going to be a perceived good team versus a perceived bad team. And it's safe to assume the line will be inflated. And the numbers show this as well. It's no coincidence that teasing down a road favorite of 7.5 points or more has resulted in a win percentage way below what's needed to break even. And since 2003, teasing a road favorite of a touchdown or more down has a win rate of only 31%. So again, never want to tease road favorites of 7.5 points or more down. And I'm not going to do a deep dive into the math here in this video, just because, let's be honest, math is boring. But based on 27 years of data and a sample size of over 2,100 games that fit the basic teaser strategy, a 6-point teaser has an ROI around 3%. A 6.5-point teaser has an ROI over 5%. And if you notice, the 7-point teaser has a negative ROI. That extra point doesn't help because you're often laying minus 130, and that ends up adding up and cutting into your edge. And for the 7-point teasers, you must win each leg 75% of the time just to break even. And remember, you have to win both games in a teaser, and most books grade pushes as losses. So we want to stick with the 6 and 6.5 point teasers based on this historical data. But there's more factors we can apply and increase our ROI. So let's continue with more rules. Remember, all these teaser rules for this strategy will be on the cheat sheet checklist, which I'll show you how to save at the end. Now, the general idea behind teasers is we want the least amount of variance as possible. The closer the final score lands to the original point spread, the better, because we're adjusting the point spread by 6 points, and the final score lands very close to the original spread will win no matter what team we select. So betting teasers with lower potential for variance is important, which brings us to our next rule. Historical data can show us the average difference between the point spread and the actual margin of victory for games. So games with an over-under of 51 points or more has an average final score margin of 12.5 points. But on games with an over-under of 50 points or less, the average final score margin is only 9 points. So in other words, games with a total of 50 points or less has lower variance and will tend to fall closer to the original listed spread, making it more likely to cash a teaser either way. So we want to tease games with a full game total of 50.5 points or less. And there's one more rule I'll quickly discuss. This one isn't as strict because there might be times when making your bet early is better. But the idea behind this This part of the strategy, or betting closer to kickoff, is about market efficiency. The closer to kickoff, the stronger the point spread is, because it has all available information factored into the line. The closing line is considered the most accurate line. And remember, with teasers, we want the final score to end on or close to the spread, because we're moving the spread 6 points with the teaser. So if the game lands right on the original spread, teasers will win no matter what team you picked on the teaser. Now, this strategy is all about numbers and what fits the strategy and what doesn't. Some weeks there might only be 1 or 2 games that fit the strategy, and some weeks there could be 5 or 6. Now, of course, remembering all these rules might be tough, but we got you covered. We created a free teaser strategy cheat sheet checklist that has all the rules laid out. You can download it right to your phone. Just simply text the word teaser to 617-855-0334. And you can use it to find games that fit the teaser strategy each week in the NFL. And if something wasn't clear in this video, or if you have any questions, just comment below. I'll make sure to respond. I'm pretty good about that. But I think that about covers everything. I appreciate you guys and girls for watching. Hope you found this video insightful and can use some of this information to cash some tickets this NFL season. Again, make sure to hit that notification bell, because I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this one. Plus, I got the daily free play breakdowns. So until next time, good luck with your betting. And as always, may all the refs' calls and all the loose balls go your